And we're back. See, I didn't even do the opening that time. I
I
forgot to
was
do the
like,
opening.
I was ready for the beat.
I was, but I hit record. That's fine. It's all right. We're ding, 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 ding. All right, we're here, folks. Episode 31. What we're watching.
And we're back.
See, just it immediately makes everything better. Gets you
It
right back
really
to
does.
zero.
I think that people are wondering why I'm wearing the exact same thing I was last week in episode 30.
Hey, folks, I get in a cycle, and every time that we record, I'm wearing this.
I just want, if anybody has a problem with what I have on, send the check. Otherwise, shut the hell up.
And he will change his clothes.
I'm sorry, fans.
Why
I
are we
would never
so
tell.
angry at the
Well, I mean,
fans?
they got a problem with my clothes, Joey.
Nobody has a problem.
No, you don't tell me. You don't tell me I need to wear something else. I'm a grown man.
You get worked up. I calm you down. While I'm calming you down, I get worked up, and then you have to calm me down.
It's a vicious cycle.
You see that? It's just
Vicious.
But we are back. We've reached episode 31. We're entering into our 30s gracefully. Gracefully. Yes. We've gotten rid of all of the shenanigans. We leave those behind.
There's low key shenanigans. It's not as like the shenanigans in your 20s could get you arrested. The shenanigans in your 30, they'll just get you a kid.
Not always. That's a different show. That's a different show.
It's a
totally different show.
Nice.
But
and we're back.
We're back. Episode 31. This week, folks, we're back in the MCU, going again chronologically. We've reached the 90s. Yes. It was a good decade. I was a teenager for most of the 90s.
I remember in the 90s loving ice cream from McDonald's. Send the check.
And today,
yes,
in the 90s, we've reached Captain Marvel. Now, again, we're going through this chronologically.
Yes.
So, Captain Marvel is a 2019 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics, featuring the character of Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It's the 21st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film was directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck from a screenplay they co-wrote with Geneva Robertson Dworet. It stars Brie Larson as Carol Danvers alongside Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Jimon Hounsou, Lee Pace, Lashana Lynch, Gemma Chan, Annette Bening, Clark Gregg, and Jude Law. Set in 1995, the story follows Danvers as she becomes Captain Marvel after Earth is caught in a galactic conflict. Development began in May 2013. The film was officially announced in October 2014 as Marvel Studios' first female-led project. Nicole Perlman and Meg LaFauve were hired to write it the following April after submitting separate takes on the character and borrowed elements from Roy Thomas's 1971 Kree Skrull War comic book storyline. Larson was announced as Danvers at the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con, with Boden and Fleck hired to direct in April 2017. Robertson Dworet was soon hired to rewrite the script, and the rest of the cast were added before the start of filming. Location shooting began in January 2018, with principal photography starting that March in California and concluding in Louisiana in July 2018. Several actors reprised their roles from previous MCU films, including Jackson and Gregg. They were both digitally de-aged in post-production to reflect the film's 1990s setting. Captain Marvel premiered in London on February the 27th, 2019, and was theatrically released in the United States on March the 8th. As part of Phase 3 of the MCU, the film grossed over $1.1 billion worldwide. making it the first female-led superhero film to pass the $1 billion mark. It became the 5th highest grossing film of 2019 and was the 23rd highest grossing film of all time during its theatrical run. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for the performances, particularly Larson's, but criticism for its lack of originality. Negative audience responses online were attributed to review bombing. A sequel, The Marvels, was released on November the 10th, 2023. So thoughts on this one before we go into the plot, TJ?
Before we get too deep into the plot, I mean, at this point in time when this movie is released, we're deep in it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
we're deep in it. There was no way that this movie was not going to crack the $1 billion mark because of where it was released in sequence, with the films. Now I know we're covering it second, but yeah, all that plays into it. There was no way I wasn't going to see this movie because of the way Marvel does their thing. You wanted to see how it was going to tie into everything. So that was a big deal for me.
Especially from the end of Infinity War,
right?
Is that when he does the pager?
The pager,
yeah.
So you see the pager, and then you get the first trailer for Captain Marvel, and you see a blockbuster video. So you're like, okay, so this is in essence a prequel.
Right?
How is it going to tie in? And essentially, what we got was another Captain America type situation. Somebody's around, something happens, and then they're brought back.
Right.
So essentially, what we were getting for Endgame from her was we got her origin. It was her, it was her first Avenger story. So yeah.
So did you see this in theaters?
Yes.
Nice.
I did. After dropping the ball with Captain America, and I told you I saw that one on Divd, I made it my duty to make sure that I was going to see. Now, I didn't see all of them opening weekend. Like Captain Marvel, I didn't see opening weekend. I saw it the second weekend, but still, yeah, I did see it.
Nice. So, in 1995, on the Kree Empire's capital planet of Hala, Star Force member Verse suffers from amnesia and recurring nightmares involving an older woman, Yon-Rogg. Her mentor and commander trains Verse to control her abilities, while the Supreme Intelligence, an artificial intelligence that rules the Kree, urges her to keep her emotions in check. During a mission to rescue an undercover operative infiltrating a group of Skrulls, alien shapeshifters with whom the Kree are at war, Verse is captured by Skrull Commander Talos. A probe of Verse's memory leads them to Earth. Verse escapes and crash lands in Los Angeles. Her presence attracts S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, whose investigation is interrupted by a Skrull attack. Verse recovers a crystal containing her extracted memories in the ensuing chase, while Fury kills a Skrull impersonating Coulson. Now, let me stop here because I watched this part just earlier today in preparation for this. Let's say you're just riding that public transport and you're just minding your own business. You're reading the newspaper. It is 1995 after all, right?
Right. We still read newspapers back then.
You see this woman in a crazy, what looks like a rubber suit, as Nick Fury says later, attack an old woman, and they just start fighting. So if you go home and try to tell your family this, they're like, is this crazy fool on drugs? What's happening?
That's exactly what they're going to believe, because
they are not going to believe you at all.
If you say, I was on the tram today, and this woman in this rubber suit got on the tram and started beating the crap out of this old lady, yeah, that's believable. But the old lady was kicking ass too, doing somersaults and flips and whatnots. Nah, you done lost your mind. We got to get you checked.
The only person who has it worse is then the guy who says, so then the old lady ran in between the cars. the woman in the rubber suit was grabbed by people, but then she changed into looking like me. Dude,
Right.
I told you, you got to quit huffing that paint. I ain't huffed since college.
Oh, you having a relapse.
Because you know that's what's going to happen. That
Oh, big
poor
time
guy,
facts.
he's like,
That's all he could do was look like. And Stan Lee saw it all.
oh,
True believers.
we're going to, yeah, reading the Mallrat script.
True believers.
Talos, disguised as Fury's boss Keller, orders Fury to work with Verse to keep tabs on her. Using her extracted memories, Verse and Fury go to the Project Pegasus installation at a U.S. Air Force base. They discover that Verse was a pilot presumed to have died in 1989 while testing.
Can I pause for a second? Can I ask a
Sure.
question?
Yeah.
I love your interpretation of her name.
Yeah.
Because
They say Veers. They say
I said Veers. Because I was pronouncing it like Jude Law did. Veers. So I was like,
you know what I think that is? I don't know if have you ever seen the original.
He's British. He's British.
Have you ever seen the original Star Trek movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture?
Yeah.
Where they meet V'ger.
I got you.
And you come to find out that it was the original Voyager that had been taken over by an alien thing, and so they call it V'ger because that's how it introduced itself. So I guess that's why, because he does say Veers. You're exactly right. Veers. But I've been saying Verse just because of what we learned later on.
Gotcha. I'm with it.
While presumed to have died in 1989 while testing an experimental light-speed engine designed by Dr. Wendy Lawson, whom Veers recognizes as the woman from her nightmare. Fury informs S.H.I.E.L.D. of their location and a team arrives. Fury realizes that Keller is Talos and helps Veers escape in a jet with Lawson's stowaway cat, Goose.
We know why, though. Because Fury is just Fury.
Right. Not Nick, not Nicholas. Not. What if you have children? They'll call me Fury.
They'll call me Fury.
What do you call your mother? Fury.
Fury. What she call you? Fury.
But my man just straight up. Oh, I just spit all over my keyboard. It was just. You ever have like just the spittle? Like I didn't spit on that thing as my girl says, but just spittle just. So there's just a little sprinkling.
Did you just show some love to Hot
She's living her best life, girl. I hope you get $1 billion from it.
Big time facts.
I have nothing but love for her. Don't hate on bro. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game either.
I don't hate anything. If I knew talking about fellatio would make me $1 billion, I would have been talking about that years ago.
But my man, getting back to it, with the tape on the ID, so he could get out of that room. I'm like, MacGyver, you the man.
That is spy stuff 101.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, we get to see, Veers poke a little bit of fun at him because she's got, laser fist. But still, that was a straight up MacGyver moment right there. I'm with that.
She does, but you notice she also tried it and her thumbprint didn't work either. Where was laser fist to get you out of the room?
Because he even said, like, you just watch me do all that thing with the paperclip and you could have done this. She's like, I just like to watch you work. But think about it, though. We know Fury to be a spy, but when have we actually seen him do spy stuff? You know what I mean? Even when we're talking about Secret Invasion, I don't necessarily know that I saw him do a lot of spy stuff. So this was an opportunity for me to really get in to old Fury.
I'm going to go into the weeds here, but I'm just going to the edge of the weeds like I'm getting a ball that we hit over there, all right?
Mm-hmm.
The only time I really saw him do something kind of spy related that I'm like, I could see a spy doing that, was it the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he parachutes down? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Now I could see a spy doing something like that.
I mean, again, Agents of Shield was a whole different monster that I hope we will give its cards and its flowers one day as well.
Right.
If you want to see it, hit the comments below
and send a check. We might put that one behind a paywall
because it's a dope show. I loved it.
They fly to Louisiana to meet former pilot Maria Rambeau, the last person to see Veers and Lawson alive. Rambeau and her daughter Monica revealed that Veers is Carol Danvers, who was once like family to them. Talos, arriving unarmed, explains that the Skrulls are refugees searching for a new home and that Lawson was Mar-Vell, a renegade Kree scientist helping them. Talos plays a recovered black box recording from Lawson's jet, prompting Danvers to remember the crash. Yon-Rogg killed Mar-Vell to prevent her from destroying the engine before the Kree could recover it. Destroying the engine herself, Danvers absorbed the energy from the ensuing explosion, gaining powers but losing her memory.
So I'm sorry. You said you said that Talos was unarmed. Technically, he was, but that threat was real.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
That threat was real because Lieutenant Trouble is outside with somebody that she thinks is her mother, and that was not her mother at all.
It was not.
That threat was real. So he didn't have any weapons on him, but he was packing.
Let me put it to you that way. If that was Fury's mom, we would definitely call her Fury.
Big time facts.
Danvers, Talos, Fury, and Rambeau locate Lawson's cloaked laboratory orbiting Earth, where Lawson hid several Skrulls, including Talos' family, and the Tesseract.
The Tesseract.
The power source of Lawson's engine. There, Danvers is captured by Starforce and interfaces with the Supreme Intelligence. Danvers removes the Kree implant that suppressed her powers during their encounter, allowing her to reach her full potential. In the subsequent battle, Fury retrieves Goose, who is revealed to be an alien Flerken.
A Flerken. Mother Flerken.
Goose swallows the Tesseract and scratches Fury, blinding his left eye.
He thought he was okay.
Yeah. Danvers destroys a Kree bomber, forcing Kree officer Ronan the Accuser and his squadron to retreat. Ronan, we will definitely see him again.
Yes, we will. Ronan the Accuser.
That's called foreshadowing or flashback if you saw this when it as it was released.
Right. I remember that guy.
Danvers overpowers Yon-Rogg and sends him to Hala with a warning for the Supreme Intelligence. She then departs to help the Skrulls find a new homeworld, leaving Fury a modified pager to contact her in an emergency. Fury drafts an initiative to locate heroes like Danvers, naming it after her Air Force call sign, Avenger, or the Avenger Initiative.
That was eggs from the movie. That was one of my favorite Easter eggs. Getting, seeing that, he's typing up this initiative that we hear about through the entire first phase, this initiative, to now understand that he named it after her because of, what she meant to the world. I'm like, you know what? That's actually really dope.
Absolutely. In a mid-credits scene set in 2018, the activated pager is being monitored by the Avengers when Danvers appears looking for Fury. In a post-credits scene, Goose climbs onto Fury's desk and regurgitates the Tesseract.
That's how it's on the States, yeah.
Yeah. The film's mid-credits scene shows Captain Marvel meeting the Avengers and was directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Bowden described it as a lead-in to the Russos' Avengers Endgame. For Captain Marvel, Marvel Studios modified their production logo to honor Stan Lee, who died on November the 12th, 2018, by replacing the character in the logo with Lee's MCU cameos. The logo is followed by a black screen reading, "Thank you, Stan." Feige said this was done because the film was Marvel's first since Lee died, and they wanted to start the film by acknowledging him with a celebration of his legacy, rather than add a somber memorial to the end of the film.
I liked the way that they, and I'm glad that no other movie, and I'll say this, I'm glad no other movie has done this since, but to have that scene with him on the tram reading the script for Mallrats which would have came out around that time, I thought that was a perfect tribute for them to look at each other, for her to look at him and smile the way that she did. I'm like, if you're gonna pay homage to somebody, that is a perfect way to do it. And then they did what they did for Chadwick Boseman, and I was like, you know what, I like that too. So they've handled real-time deaths very well, in my opinion, with regards to the MCU.
I had just been to see Venom when he passed away. It was like the day before or the day after he had passed away. So I was wondering, because I knew that this was upcoming, that it was between the big tentpole Avengers movies, that I knew that they had
to do something.
Yeah, and they had Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they had Captain Marvel. So reception: Captain Marvel grossed $426.8 million in the United States and Canada, and $701.6 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $1.128 billion. The review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 79%, which an average score of 6.8 out of 10, based on 552 reviews. The website's critical consensus reads, "Packed with action, humor, and visual thrills, Captain Marvel introduces the MCU's latest hero with an origin story that makes effective use of the franchise's signature formula." Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 64 out of 100 based on 56 critics, indicating a generally favorable reviews. According to the New York Times, the film's overall reception was fairly positive, but it wasn't as well received as other films in the MCU. The Hindustan Times, collating multiple reviews of the film, noted praise for Brie Larson's performance, but also criticism for the film's convoluted plot and lack of originality.
I don't know what, I think at this point, whenever, when you're talking about 21 films into a saga,
right?
I feel like we, at this point in time, we were spoiled. We were spoiled because, I mean, if you just look at this movie on a whole, yes, it's a little clunky, because if you don't have the other films or the other, points to build off of, you really don't know what's what. So if Captain Marvel wasn't being released as a part of the Infinity Saga, if it was just his own standalone movie, I'm like, I don't really know what's going on, because it's very dependent on you knowing some things.
Right.
So if you're just getting into the MCU, I wouldn't necessarily want to go with Captain Marvel as being the introduction, because it's like there's so much that you would need to know beforehand to truly be able to understand, like, why is this Nick Fury important? Why is it so important that they call him Fury? But if you had watched, the 20 movies prior, then you would understand. So it's just like, so as with reviewing, we're reviewing because we expect, I mean, it's after Infinity War, and I thought Infinity War was done very well.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So yeah, they're going to be just a little bit tighter with the reviewing, because now they're comparing everything to this. Because it's like, with all the phases, you compare movies in that phase to what you consider to be the best movie of that phase.
Right.
So everything in phase 1 was compared to Iron Man 1. And then you get an introduction to Guardians and so on. But you got it. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. But so now we're going into what's next. So next
Mhm.
in our MCU watch is Iron Man. So we'll be going back to
Hey,
the first film in the saga.
somebody holler at Tom because we got a MySpace reference coming.
This is true. This is true.
How did Tom do? He always looked like he was getting in trouble. Somebody caught his hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah. So that's next for the MCU. We will also go back and we will be covering the next few episodes of season 1. We'll be starting at episode 6 of season 1 of Community. So we're also doing that.
Getting rid of Britta. Getting rid of the B. She's a GDB.
And we have talked about this, folks.
She's a no good bee.
Live your life like Pierce singing the background lyrics of that song. No regrets.
No regrets. No regrets.
All right, TJ. But in the meantime, and then in between time, go ahead and plug any and everything you have, my friend.
Folks, if you want to follow me on social media, guess what? You can't. But here's what you can do. You can follow this man right here because I'm living through him on social medias vicariously.
So, I am at the Joey Harris. If it's a social media, I'm on it at the Joey Harris.
So if you want
made it easy for you
to get a word to this guy, holler at him. We got a Q&A for a movie premiere coming up here. So I'm one of those actors that gets to get questions at the Q&A. I don't know if they're going to have any questions for me, but I'm prepared to give a very profound answer to say, so TJ, how did you like being on the movie? It was amazing. I really tapped into some things that I wasn't prepared for.
So TJ, break down Nietzsche's philosophies. I'm sorry, what did you? I didn't hear the question.
Right. What was that?
What is your favorite sandwich? Oh, I don't know why. I heard that differently the first time. Air. It's the air system. It's too loud.
It was too loud. I don't like pimento cheese.
Do you not care for a pimento cheese?
I do not care for a pimento cheese.
Oh, that's right. You don't believe in mayonnaise.
I don't. I don't believe in mayonnaise at all.
Quick, folks, I'm going to go on a quick tangent here. It's not like the man says, I do not care for mayonnaise, which I can understand and appreciate, even if I don't agree with it. He doesn't believe. That's okay.
I don't even.
Mayonnaise believes in itself.
When I go down that aisle at the Food Dog, because they usually put mayonnaise with the barbecue sauces, I only look on one side. And every time I see a Duke's barbecue sauce, you know who I think about? I think about you.
I get them. I'll tell you what, that gold, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. Not with a stick.
Looks good. I saw it on closeout. I almost grabbed it, but it didn't have enough spice in it for me. I like a little bit more sting in my sauces.
You know who also has a good gold is Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's does have a good gold.
Yeah.
You're not wrong about it.
And this has been Barbecue Talk. If you would like a new show, also let me know that. I'll open up a channel of Barbecue Talking it on up.
Bro, we can sit there and talk about everything. But if you want to hear me and Joey talk about everything, go to where you consume podcasts and search the Joey Harris Show podcast, man. Look at you. Look at you.
And when we reach those magic live subscribers on Barbecue Talk, TJ and I will broadcast live from the dividing line between vinegar and tomato in North Carolina. TJ, what are things over here? They love their tomato, Joey. Back to you. I'm over here in Vinegarville.
That's it. You sitting there, you got signs. People on my side got signs, fried green tomatoes, you know. And then there's going to be that one person that says, big fat back, fatty pack.
That's what's known as a callback, folks.
That is a callback, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
All right. But, folks, thank you so much for joining us. TJ and I will be back next time. And in the meantime and in the in-between time, please be good to yourselves. And we will see you next time.